Welcome to the channel, and today we will continue turn 2 of Salerno 43, a Mark Simonitz games by GMT. If we recall, in the last turn 1, the Allies made pretty good progress moving up into the beaches and pushing the Axis force inland. They hope to continue that progress, and the Axis force are hoping with a large group of reinforcements to push the Allied forces back into the sea. So let's see how they do as we continue our playthrough of Salerno 43. We begin turn 2 with the weather phase, and a die roll of 5 pushes the weather 2 steps, which releases the German aircraft and gives them 2 supply points, reducing the Americans down to no air units at all. A perfect setup for the Axis player to carry out their counterattack. Let's see if they can capitalize on this good fortune with the weather. We record the 1 supply point for the Allies and the 2 extra supply points for the German Axis army. We now move from the weather phase into the German initial phase, and then from there we will move on to the movement phase. In the initial phase, the Germans get a very large supply of reinforcements. In the south, the Axis player gets 2 counters from the 29th Panzer Division and 2 ASU units along with a mobile garrison force. In the north, we have a battalion from the Panzergrenadier unit, a tank, a battalion, and an ASU division, Hermann Gorman Panzer Division. In the south, we will consolidate the 29th Panzer Division and, traveling north, accessing the road and taking advantage of road movement, have them traverse the mountainous terrain all the way to Altilva Salentina. The remainder of the southern units will also take advantage of road movement and move up as far as possible to assist in any attacks or defenses in and around Ebole. The disrupted unit retreats back towards Ebole using tactical movement. Because Ebole and Battaglia are 2 key cities, most of the German 16th Panzer Division will retreat back towards the defense of those 2 cities, preventing the American player from scoring those victory points. The garrison will move north up to Ogliastro to prevent the tank battalion from continuing to head south on the road, creating a line of defense with the other garrison. The northern reinforcements will move down to strengthen Norsarian Inferior and hold the Rangers to Chilnsea Pass. The motorized infantry will move to Sarno. The variable strength garrison will move down to reinforce near Salerno. Finally, the motorized infantry will move up next to Albinella to block the road through the mountains. The only battle that will take place will be at Battaglia. The ASU next to Eboli will assist in the attack. The Axis will also pull in some air support. The odds work out to be 3-1 with a dice roll of 1 that equals an exchange. Both sides lose a step. The Axis flips the motorized infantry, losing the elite status. The Allies flip the large infantry counter. Air support is sent back to the weather track. The Axis player moves to the recovery phase. The Axis disrupted unit near Eboli recovers. The Axis player now moves to the supply phase. The Axis player will use all 4 supply points to flip all of the ASU counters. The turn counter is flipped to the Ally side. The phase counter is also flipped to the Ally side and moved to the initial phase of the turn. We begin with reinforcements, and all of these will come from the floating reserve. The Allies send an ASU unit to the beaches next to Salerno, a 5-strength infantry unit to Uncle Beach, and a division ASU and Corps ASU to Rogers Beach. The U.S. has a division ASU, Sherman tank, and a Corps ASU. A 4 and 6 strength infantry unit are arriving on Red and Blue Beach. The 5th Army will use its supply point to flip the 36th Division ASU counter. The Allies now move to the movement phase of the turn, starting by moving the 4 Rangers closer to the Nursery Inferiore, then bringing up the 46th Division ASU into Vitry-sur-Mer as support. In the north, the British move a tank and 2 infantry units up to help push the German units away from Salerno. 1 infantry uses road movement to reach the outskirts of the city. The 5-strength infantry unit lands at the beach and moves 1 hex towards Salerno. The flipped infantry unit will retreat to the beachhead. The 2 and 3-strength infantry units will move towards Battaglia. Both the 56th Division and the X-Corps ASU will move onto the beach to add support. The Sherman and 2-strength infantry will move up next to Battaglia. The Americans will move a number of units towards Altavilla Silentia. This includes a 1-strength unit along with a 2-strength unit. The 6th-strength infantry will move onto the beach and south to join the M10 tank. This unit will get a half effectiveness marker. We now move into the Allies' combat phase. There is no combat in Nursery Inferiore. However, at Salerno we can call in some naval support, which we do. The German variable strength unit rolls a 4 for a defense of 1. After adding everything up, we have 3-to-1 odds. A dice roll of 4 at 3-to-1 has DR2 with an advance of 2. However, the Germans decide to roll for a determined defense and get a 5, which is modified to a 6. The Germans pick the Sherman and variable strength unit for the losses. The naval support unit is returned to the holding square. The next battle will be at Battaglia. Both the 56th Division and the X-Corps ASU will assist in the battle. A dice roll of 4 at 3-to-1 has a DR2 with an advance of 2. The Germans decide to roll for a determined defense with the addition of the 76th Panzer ASU. They get a dice roll of 1 or a modified 3, with a partial success, and the city battle marker is placed. The next battle will be at Altavilla Silentiana, and the Americans will use the 36th Division ASU support. Finally, a die roll of 6 at 4-to-1 results in a D1 with an advance of 3. The Germans take the loss of 1 infantry unit. They retreat 3 hexes and become disrupted. The Americans advance south and east, taking Altavilla Centellina and Albanelli. The next battle is at Orgasco on the variable strength unit there. The Germans roll a 5, giving a defense strength of 1. At 5-to-1, the Americans roll a 5 for a DR4 advance 3 result. The variable strength unit retreats 4 hexes down near the river. The Americans will advance west and attack the variable strength garrison. The Germans roll a 5, 1 strength for the garrison unit. The Americans decide to bring in some naval support. The Americans roll a 6, which gets a D1 advance 3. The garrison force is eliminated, and the M10 moves into Agropolis. We now move into the recovery phase. The 45th Infantry is now at full strength. We now move on to the victory check phase. The Americans pick up 2 more victory points. This is not enough to give them the victory, but we are getting close. Well, the Allies did move inland a little bit more and won half their battles. Not bad, really. Now let's see if they can keep that up when we move on to turn 3 of Salerno. 43. So please be sure to check that out in the next video, and please do like and subscribe, as that really helps out the channel. And until next time, have fun gaming.